When we think of powerful female rulers in Islamic history, our minds immediately go to the legendary Queen of Sheba. Yet the story of power in Islam began long before her time. Thousands of miles away in the distant land of Al-Andalus, it began with a man, a prophet named Sulaiman, son of David, peace be upon them both. The story begins not with a queen, but with a king unlike any other. Prophet Sulaiman AS was granted a kingdom by Allah Almighty that combined immense temporal power with profound spiritual leadership. His authority extended beyond men, encompassed the jinn and the creatures of the earth. He was given the ability to understand and even command the language of the birds. So when he went out to hunt, the birds would tell him where the game was. They would also tell him about events happening far away, keeping him informed about everything occurring in his vast domain. In fact, it was a bird that brought him the glad tidings of the imminent arrival of Prophet Isages, peace be upon him. He was also given dominion over the jinn, elemental beings of immense power made from smokeless fire, who were created before mankind. Under his direction, they built great structures and dived for buried treasure, working tirelessly day and night. So immense was his power that at one point he assembled a massive court, an awe-inspiring gathering that has become a thing of legend. There were 40,000 men from among his human subjects, each leading 40,000 mounted soldiers. Then there were 40,000 jinn regiments, each led by an elite jinn commander. These figures were not meant to overwhelm or intimidate. They were there to serve, to protect, and assist their master in carrying out his multifaceted responsibilities. As he surveyed his court, one particular detail caught his eye. Among the assembled jinn were two elite warriors, his two brothers by the names of Lacus and Dilis. Their strength was so formidable that if left unchecked, they could have posed a significant threat, possibly even challenging Sulaiman's authority. But Sulaiman wasn't just a powerful ruler. He was a wise one too. Instead of resorting to brute force or imprisonment, he devised a test. He ordered that both brothers be encased in jars, sealed with wax, and then thrown into the sea. This act might seem harsh, but it was a necessary measure to ensure order and safety within his realm. Yet even in this moment of potential chaos, there was beauty and intrigue. As the jars containing the brothers were tossed into the waves, they washed up on the shores of Mogadishu. Little did Solomon know that these seemingly random events were part of a divine plan, a plan that would bring him face to face with an extraordinary woman. Her name was Balqees, the Queen of Sheba, also known as Mogadishu. When she saw the jars, she had them opened and freed the brothers. And as they stepped onto solid ground once again, their first act was to pledge allegiance to her, recognizing her as their rightful ruler. It is important to remember that Sulaiman's AS power was never used for oppression or tyranny. It was a power granted by Allah Almighty to implement His law, spread the message of Tawhid, the oneness of God, and establish justice. Even in his interactions with the mighty Queen Balqees, he demonstrated wisdom and restraint rather than using his superior forces to dominate her. Their paths crossed in a remarkable way. A messenger arrived from Solomon with a simple yet powerful message. From Solomon, son of David, to Balqees, may Allah's blessings be upon you. Your Lord is Allah the One, the Incorporeal. Bow down to Him, and you will be rewarded with twofold blessings. Imagine the scene, the meeting of two powerful rulers from different lands, each representing different cultures and traditions, yet there was a common thread that bound them together: the worship of one God, Allah Almighty. Balqees was intrigued by Solomon's message. She pondered it deeply, recognizing the truth in his words. However, she was hesitant to submit so easily. She wanted to test the might of this mysterious king who commanded the obedience of both men and genies. So she decided to send him a seemingly innocuous gift, a golden throne inlaid with precious gems and adorned with intricate designs. It was a symbol of her status, a test of his powers, and perhaps a subtle challenge to his rule. When Solomon received the throne, he was impressed by its magnificence, but he saw through its deeper meaning. He knew that Balqees was testing him, probing for any sign of weakness or arrogance. And how did he respond? With humility and gratitude. He didn't flaunt his power. He didn't use it to intimidate. Instead, he sent back a message, one that was both firm and respectful, told Balqees that while he appreciated the gift, he would not accept it unless she came herself to pay homage to Allah. Her response was immediate and decisive. Balqees, along with her entourage, embarked on a journey that would change her life forever. She traveled to Solomon's court, not as a conqueror, but as a supplicant, ready to submit to the truth. What happened next was nothing short of spectacular. Solomon, true to his divine mission, welcomed her with open arms. He didn't humiliate her for her previous defiance. He didn't gloat over his victory. Instead, he showed her the wonders of his realm, the marvels that Allah had placed under his dominion. She witnessed the splendor of his court, the disciplined ranks of his armies, and the awe-inspiring array of his treasures. But perhaps most importantly, she saw the way he used his power, how he maintained order, dispensed justice, and most significantly, how he propagated the message of Allah. It was a lesson in leadership, a demonstration of what it meant to rule with wisdom and fairness. Then came the ultimate revelation, the moment that sealed her fate and led her towards the path of righteousness. Solomon took Balqees on a tour of his magnificent palace, showcasing the wonders of his realm.
Ow.
Suddenly they paused. Balqees noticed something peculiar. Every time she moved, the throne carried by 4 black slave boys bearing resemblance to jinns followed her closely. Intrigued, she asked Solomon about it, and that's when he revealed the truth. The throne was enchanted. It had eyes and legs, and it moved by the will of the jinn. It couldn't stand idly by when its master approached. Overwhelmed by the magical spectacle, Balqees realized that this was no ordinary king. This was a man whom Allah had elevated to unimaginable heights. And as she looked at Solomon, she understood that the one true God had manifested his power through this humble servant. In that moment, Balqees' heart stirred with conviction. The evidence was clear, the truth undeniable. Solomon wasn't just a powerful ruler. He was a conduit of divine authority. Yet it wasn't just the grandeur of his court or the magic of his palace that swayed her. It was the spirit in which he conducted himself, the way he balanced his immense powers with humility and piety. His court wasn't just a display of wealth or military might. It was a testament to organized society, to the rule of law, and the pursuit of justice. His dominion over the genies wasn't portrayed as a mere exercise of power. It was shown as a means of serving Allah, constructing magnificent buildings, and providing for his people. All of this culminated in the pivotal moment when Balqees entered Solomon's court and witnessed the grandeur of his rule firsthand. The sight of the throne carried by the eunuchs further cemented the idea in her mind that she was in the presence of someone truly blessed by Allah. This realization triggered a profound shift in her perspective. She had come to test Solomon, but ended up being tested herself. Her beliefs were challenged, her perception shifted, and her heart opened to the truth. She had seen enough. She had witnessed enough. Balqees fell to her knees before Solomon, not in defeat, but in submission, acknowledging the supremacy of Allah and the legitimacy of Solomon's rule. Her transformation wasn't a sudden epiphany. It was the result of careful observation, critical thinking, and above all, an open heart. She had come to test a king, but ended up finding much more, a spiritual awakening that would change her life's trajectory forever. In the end, it was Solomon's commitment to justice, his wisdom and leadership, and most importantly, his unwavering faith in Allah that won her over. Her story isn't just a tale of a powerful queen, it's a narrative of intellectual honesty, the courage to abandon old beliefs, and the triumph of truth over ignorance.